Hi, I'm Jillian and welcome to the show. I offer spiritual growth for the rebel soul, guiding you through the labyrinth of your own ascension path. This show is for the rebel souls that challenge the status quo, those that crave authenticity in every single aspect of their lives, that desire to embrace their uniqueness, follow their passions, connect to their soul, and live according to who they truly are, even if that means having the courage to go against the grain or the norms of society. If that's you, my spiritual soul seeker, rebel warrior, then this is the place for you. On this podcast, we speak about everything from spirituality, sexuality, conscious relationships, business, and literally everything in between. So if that's your jam, then stay tuned. And go on, be a rebel and subscribe. You know you want to. If you've been going through a spiritual awakening or working with spirit at all, then you need to listen up. Because when we start to awaken, when we start to develop our own spiritual and psychic gifts, we become more intuitive. We become more energetically sensitive. And we are opening ourselves up to different realms of consciousness, different realms of energy and spirit. And what can happen is that we accidentally invite spirits that are not of the highest nature in, or we can get psychically attacked, because when we are healing ourselves, when we are accessing new realms of who we are and stepping into our purpose, we ultimately start to hold more light. We are transmuting the dense frequencies that are keeping us in low vibration, that are keeping us stuck in like self-doubt, in not being clear on who we are, our authentic self, or living as like free like individuals on our own unique path, because ultimately, guys, that's what we're here to do. So if you're going through a spiritual awakening, if you're starting to become more intuitive, if you've noticed that you're becoming more energetically sensitive, if you are just like questioning everything about yourself, about your reality, and really stepping into exploring your spiritual gifts, and you may already be working with spirit, you may already be channeling, you may be interested in energy healing, then you really need to be aware of the fact that when you hold more light, there are different levels of energies and people that will not like that. And I'm going to tell you a story about 2012 when I kind of really started to first spiritually awaken. And the next few years, I went through a whole process of exploring my gifts. I went to a psychic school for a few years. I then studied in Reiki and energy healing, and then past life regression and like a whole host of other things subsequently. But at the very start, the thing that I realized when I was connecting with spirit, when I was channeling spirit, when I was channeling energy, the thing that I realized was potentially a problem that I didn't know was a problem until it was that I wasn't really given proper ways that were unique to me of how to ground and harness and protect my energy, like fully, that was something for me. And I wasn't also told that when we awaken, we're holding more light, and things are going to be attracted to us that are to, let's say, block our true path. Because when we connect to our own intuition, when we connect to spirit, when we connect to soul, this is what we're really here to do, guys, because we are a spirit, we are a soul living a human experience. And the way to truly live authentically, and the way to truly find clarity on our purpose and path, so we can create like a life that we love, that is so unique and individual to us, is through our intuition, is through our own spiritual abilities. Because we all have different spiritual gifts. We all have these gifts that we are meant to share with the world and to be of service, to make transformation, to make impact, not just in our lives, in our relationships, in our careers, in our business, in our health, in our happiness, and to create a life that feels meaningful for us. And obviously what feels meaningful for you might not feel meaningful for me. So this is why it's such a unique individual path, but also to make transformation in the lives of others. So this is what we're here to do, guys, as a soul. This is what our purpose is. And everyone has a unique purpose. But when we start to awaken, we are getting closer to what that purpose is, and our intuition will lead us there. And this is why I teach on it, because it's like the minute we can start tapping into these unseen realms to connect and get guidance from the highest entities and energies and vibrations that are really here to support us and that love us, that's going to lead us to our true path. However, like everything, there is light and dark, right? There is light and dark. And when we start to awaken, so when we start to heal, we are holding more light, because we are transforming those lower dense frequencies of, the lower vibration, emotions and mental states and victimhood and all of that stuff, because we're removing the masks, right? And some people don't like that. And there are other entities and energies in the world that also want your light. They want to feed off that light. And these are the unseen spirits that I'm talking about, guys. And they are very real. And I don't want to scare anyone, because we can totally protect ourselves from these. And it might be interesting for you guys to know that probably like 99.9%, probably 100% of people have had energetic attachments that are feeding off them. They're feeding off their life force. They're perpetuating exhaustion, tiredness, like unclarity, self-doubt, anger, sadness, anxiety, that are perpetuating all of these like symptoms that we don't even realize is happening. But if you're already on your spiritual journey, you might already know like something isn't quite right with me. I'm feeling exhausted. I'm feeling tired. Like something isn't right, and you maybe don't have quite the answers to it, but this could be the answer, right? So I want to tell you a story. As I was starting my own spiritual journey and exploring all these different modalities, me and my friend who were studying energy healing at the time, so this was probably 2016, I think, we went up to Byron Bay. So this is in Australia. We went up to it was a spiritual kind of festival or conference in Mullumbimby. So if anyone lives in Australia and knows about Mullumbimby, it's quite like a hippie town. It's quite like, let's say, spiritual, and it may have changed now, because this was obviously quite a few years ago. But when we went up there, the energy was so thick, because like all the locals and like the people from the surrounding areas were coming to this particular spiritual event, this particular spiritual festival. And me and my friend, who were like these two blonde outsiders, we walked in there, and automatically it was like we could feel eyes on us. It was such a weird feeling. And as I said, I was really only at the start of my spiritual journey at that point, and I didn't fully know what was happening. I could just feel that we were not welcome there. Like that was the first thing we were feeling, was we were not welcome there. There was people's behaviors, and what I like really found out within that kind of community, like we all have access when we call ourselves spiritual, or when we are awakening to our spiritual nature. Again, there's light and dark, right? And we have to have a mixture of both. However, what I felt in that particular condensed place with those particular people was that there was a few people that were working with, let's say, not so great energies, that definitely had attachments that were feeding and perpetuating them to maybe work with black magic or things that were not so helpful, not so welcoming, because they were not welcoming to us at all. And it was this just strangest feeling, like, what is happening here? Like, we've just stepped into this place that's supposed to be love and light and spiritual and welcoming, and it was really the opposite of that. And that was probably my first experience of realizing the duality when it comes to spirituality, because as I said, when we are opening ourselves up to different energies and guides and frequencies, it's so important to be discerning around who we're inviting to communicate with, and being very, very clear that they are for our highest good, and just even having very strong protection, because as I said, you're going to have more light. And of course there are people, and I do believe at that particular place there were people that were knowingly working with, let's say, darker forms of magic, right? Darker forms of spirituality and accessing things that were not so great and not so inviting. So obviously me and my friend walked in and we were like these beacons of light because we had started channeling and working with energy, and we hadn't actually learned great energetic protection, even though I've been doing this for a few years now. Like, it wasn't something that we were fully taught. And this is why I am such a stickler for it. And this is why it's something that's so important for all of my clients that I work with, is the energetic protection, because it can impact you so bad if you are getting psychically attacked from people. And this can happen through jealousy. This can happen through whatever is going on with them, and you may be triggering them. People can psychically attack you. And then if you're this open beacon of light now that is connecting to spirit and has your intuitive abilities awakened, your energetic abilities awakened, you are again channeling more light, and therefore there are the unseen entities and lower vibration energies that also want a bit of you, because you know what? Spirit can do so much through a human body than they can by themselves. So they want to block your progress, firstly, and they want to keep you in those defeatist mindsets. They want to keep you in self-doubt. They want to keep you in non-clarity. They want to keep you in drained exhaustion. And this is what I found at this particular event. We were sitting watching a stage. I'm not sure who was talking or performing at this point, and I could feel literally, and I could see daggers coming into my back. Literally, I can't explain. And I had to excuse myself and take myself away to the bathroom and just clear myself, like just energetically clear myself and protect myself, like the only way that I kind of knew how at that point. And I could feel, like I could literally see the daggers being pulled out of me. And it was wild. This was like really one of the first experiences that I'd had, bar another one that I'm going to talk about, that I was so in tune to being psychically attacked. And obviously when we're psychically attacked, our energetic protection on our walls can fall down, and we can have energy attachments and that are feeding off our energy and perpetuating these negative cycles in our life. But so this was coming not from like the unseen attachments that were so present and were attached to many of the people in this place that were coining themselves as like spiritual gurus and stuff, but obviously coming straight from the person. And it was multifaceted, right? Because when we have a negative energy that is attached to us, it will perpetuate negative bad behavior in that person. So it was, the psychic attack was coming from the person, but also this was giving opportunity for lower vibration entities to attach to our energy field. Because when our energy field is weak and not protected, it's like you going on holiday and leaving your keys in your front door, your door wide open. It's like squatters' rights. They'll come and jump in. The minute that you are not conscious, they will come and jump in. And this is exactly what happened. So I obviously took myself away to the old porta potty and cleared my energy, protected my energy, because I was like, I can feel something not right here. It doesn't feel good for me. However, my friend did not do this. My beautiful friend, Emma, did not do this. Love you, Emma. And the next few days were really challenging for her. Like, she was exhausted. She had headaches. Like, she just was not feeling right. Like, she knew she'd been energetically attacked and she had an attachment. So we had to go through a whole process of trying to clear her too. And this is the thing, guys. It's like when we're not fully aware that this can happen, we're probably walking through most of life in this like cloud of doom. And a lot of people do, and a lot of people blame it on something else, or a lot of people normalize it, but it's not normal. And the good thing is we do have the tools to be able to clear and protect ourselves. So again, this is for specifically the people that are on their spiritual journey, the people that are awakening, the people that are exploring different spiritual work or traditions or healing work as a client or training to do them as a practitioner. Anytime that you're opening to spirit in any kind of way, or just as your intuitive gifts are opening, your empathic gifts are opening, you just need to be able to learn to protect yourself, right? And this is why it's something that I work again so closely with my clients on, because it's a non-negotiable. If you're an intuitive being, if you are on this path to really create a life of impact and meaning, and it is going to be through your own gifts, your own intuitive gifts. Like, that's how you're going to find your purpose. That's how it happens. To lead you in the right way so you can have clarity and truly transform your life, then you need to learn how to protect yourself. And I have another cool story, which actually happened before this. And this is when I first started to develop my psychic gifts. I went to a psychic school in London. Yes, Hogwarts is alive. And again, it was the synchronicities of how I was guided there was just wild and insane, but I'll maybe leave that for another episode. Anyway, this one particular, so we learned to channel and do readings, and we were doing readings in person for each other. But this one particular day that I was attending, we were doing aura readings. So again, this was all in person. So we were just like, one person would stand at the wall, and the rest of the class would be trying to read their aura or see their aura with our physical eyes. And I don't remember, because this was in like 2014, maybe 2014. It's a long time ago. And I remember I must have known something about spirit guides or energies, at that point. I can't remember exactly what my knowledge was of that at that point. But I remember coming into class, and before we started class, I distinctly felt and knew that there was a presence with me. I felt them, like they were right next to me. And I got so excited, guys. I got so excited because I literally thought this is my spirit guide. And I hadn't learned, again, the way to discern, what different energies that I'm feeling or seeing. My clear senses, my psychic senses were just awakening, right? So I was feeling and seeing new things. I was feeling and seeing unseen energies. And I hadn't learned at that point to discern what kind of guide or non-guide or energy this was. I could just feel, and I knew this entity was here, right? And me just being naive at the very start of my journey, I thought this was my spirit guide, right? And I was just so excited, like, oh my God, my spirit guide's here and joining me in class. Like, it was, and you might relate to this if you've started potentially working with guides. It's just such a cool feeling. So I literally and metaphorically took this, what I thought was my guide's hand, right? I couldn't see it with my eyes. I just felt the presence, and I could feel, and I just knew it was there. So that was my clairsentience, which is clear feeling, and claircognizance, which is clear knowing. I didn't have a visual of it, which would have been my clairvoyance. It was just a feeling and a knowing. And which is also something that I teach my clients, is how to know what your own psychic senses are and really master those, so you can fully hone your gifts and know how you receive information and know how you receive clarity and clear messages from spirit and just from life. Anyway, so I literally took this in its proverbial hand. I took this energy, let's just say, into the bathroom and had a wee with it. I mean, they didn't have a wee. I had a wee in my cubicle. I was just like, my spirit gets seen everything. Like, it's fine. I'm just taking a wee in front of it. Whatever. Me and this entity, faux spirit guide, just in the cubicle, having a pee. And it took its hand and like literally skipped back to class. And this is before class started, right? So I'm just thinking, yeah, fuck yeah, this is great. And little did I know, when it was my turn to go against the wall and people were trying to read my aura, I could just see this like confused and perplexed look on my teacher's face at the time. And she was just like, the head's tilting and she's looking at me. And I was like, what's going on? And I was like, oh, I must have a really cool aura. No, it was not that. It was, she kind of took me to the side and was like, okay, I'm not trying to scare you, but like, you have a shapeshifter. I had never heard of what a shapeshifter was. I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And she said that I had a shapeshifter, which is a lower vibration entity or energy, or that was basically passing off as a guide, and I had unbeknowingly invited it into my energy field. And what this shapeshifter does is it will, like literally what it says on the tin, right? It will shapeshift and hold its shape into a formation to make you think that it is something, but it can only hold its formation for so long. So obviously the longer that I was standing against this wall, she was seeing this energy or this entity just like morphing into something else because it couldn't hold its shape for too long. And it's basically a trickster, okay? And it tricks you into believing that it is, for me, I thought it was a guide, okay? But it's not. And it's a parasite, right? It just wants to feed off your energy, all the things. So she had to clear it for me at that point. And that was really like eye-opening to the different levels of spirit and entity that are so attracted to you. And she did give me the analogy. It was like, again, when you're doing this work, you are accessing higher consciousness, you're accessing more light, and you're becoming more light. And that's like a moth to a flame, you know, it's like flies to a light bulb. And you really just need to protect your energy. And that was from so many different ways, even to the point where now, you know, I obviously have my practices and rituals to protect my energy, but also I'm very, very conscious about who I interact with, where I go, because, you know, there are some places that are like a feeding ground for these lower vibration energies and entities. Things like bars, things that people are taking drugs or alcohol or smoking, or, you know, like anything that is fast food places, like anything that is just like not for our highest good, you know, that are perpetuating unhealthy, toxic behaviors where we're not actually looking after ourselves. And especially the things that are like shifting our consciousness, the things that are making us actually step out of our own consciousness and our own body, that will alter our state of consciousness, like alcohol, like drugs. And even, I might hasten to say, plant medicines. So again, you know, like plant medicines, whilst absolutely can be a gateway to accessing these spiritual parts of yourself, they also come with, you are shifting your levels of consciousness and you're inviting in something that also can have levels of attachment or darkness. So again, that's why I always say, if someone is looking to explore these types of things, these plant medicines, then really be cautious about who you're doing that with, where you're doing it, and have a level of discernment and energy protection whilst you're going through any of these kind of things, and also doing it in a ritualistic fashion, and not just something like for pleasure, you know? So, I mean, there's a couple of components there. And yeah, so this is like the reality, guys, for any of you that are going through these spiritual shifts, that are awakening your own intuitive senses, your own psychic senses. You know, if you're drawn to any of these kind of healings and trainings or teachings, then it is just so important that you are able to protect yourself and discern what you're working with, or just being able to go into the world. Because I honestly have so many clients that come to me with confusion and overwhelm and lack of clarity, like they know they're here for bigger things, or they're having conflict in their relationships, or they're just in a flux at the moment with like their business and they can't really see the wood from the trees. And look, not everyone obviously has an attachment or an entity or has been psychically attacked, but it is a real thing, and some of them actually do. So again, this is something that I teach. This is something that I feel so strongly about, because I have had my own experiences and I had to learn the hard way. And this is why this is like such, for my unique framework of how I work with all of my clients and how I teach in my programs, is the path framework, which is my unique framework around activating your psychic gifts, aligning your energy, and being able to fully communicate with spirit and get spirit support, as well as clear any of your energetic blocks. Because again, that is attachments, that's lifestyle, that's past lives, that's generational trauma, that's childhood stuff. I mean, there's so many things there. But this is the formula to fully step into your power, to fully step into your authentic self, and to align with your spiritual path. Because when we can start to channel from spirit safely and be so embodied and empowered in our true spiritual nature, our authentic self, like the world is our oyster. Like we can take leaps, quantum leaps in our life. We can manifest things that we've never dreamed of. We have insights into our unique path. We can help people at such a profound level because we have guidance and wisdom that is not just from like logic and the things that we've learned. It's coming from higher levels of consciousness. And this is where true creative solution comes in, guys. This is where true genius comes in. And this is what is going to be here to support you in your path. And whether that is you feel like you're being drawn to these modalities for your own personal empowerment, for your own personal development, or whether actually they're the secret to you creating the purpose and prosperity in your life, be that through your business, be that through your career, or be that through your relationships. Because honestly, following this framework has helped not just me, but my clients in all areas of their life, where they've reclaimed their gifts and they've stepped into their true power. And that is helping them on every single level to create those most authentic and cultivate those beautiful relationships, because they can see exactly what's happening beneath the veil. They are building businesses and careers of their dreams that fill them with meaning and purpose and happiness, and they are forging their own path in the world. So again, whether that is you go into becoming a psychic or a healer, or just using your gifts for your own soul's mission, because everyone has a different soul mission, guys. This is why I've named my Rebel Psychic School Practical Magic for Rebel Souls, because it's for the people that want to live authentically, that want to be courageous, that are ready to go against the status quo and live their life according to their own rules. It takes courage to fully step out of the spiritual closet and tune in and access your own intuition to lead your life and to create a soul-led life. And that's why I call everybody a rebel soul that has the calling to do this and has their awakening and takes action to invest in themselves. Because and I think this is one of the big things for me in my own spiritual journey is, I was thinking about that this morning, was one of the biggest things that helped me was accountability. Like learning to take accountability for me was a game changer. I used to be in victim mode. I used to be defensive as hell, because I was in my wounded era. But when I started to take accountability for who I was, my behaviors, and changing that, because I'm the only one that has the power to do that. I couldn't control what happened to me in the past, or what people did to me, or, what created this kind of mask or these victim mentalities from, my past, my childhood, whatever. But I now as an adult had the opportunity to realize that I didn't want to be in those states anymore. And I was the only one that could change that. I was the only one that could commit to myself, my growth, my happiness, and living a life that felt so unique to me. And that's one of the reasons that I was able to move to the other side of the world and build a 7-figure digital media and technology recruitment company that I owned for 7.5 years. That was the reason that I now have mental clarity and peace in my life. That is one of the reasons that I left my 7-figure recruitment business and moved into that was unfulfilling for me. There was no meaning left in that business for me. Even though I'd built it, I felt stuck because I'd built a whole business and I'd built a team and all the things, and we were very successful. But it no longer was part of my plan and my journey. And that allowed me the courage to step into the unknown and move into my spiritual and healing and coaching work full time, not knowing how I was going to land, not knowing how I was even going to put it together. like just taking that leap of faith was because I started trusting myself. I cleared my blocks and I started trusting my intuition, and I was trusting my guidance from spirit. And you can do that too. And that is, honestly, this is my mission. This is my purpose, to help people that are mission-led souls, that know they're here for more, that are on their spiritual journey and want to live a life according to their own rules. That's it. So if you feel the call, there's many ways to work with me, one-on-one in my private coaching and mentorship. I have individual sessions. But if you really want to learn the tools and techniques to activate your psychic senses, channel spirit, and clear your own blocks, and learn to protect your energy so you can become that true channel of authenticity and step fully into your purpose, then check out my Rebel Psychic School, Practical Magic for Rebel Souls. All the details are below. You can join my VIP waitlist. So if I'm about to drop an really exciting early bird for my birthday month in October before we officially launch, the program starts in July, but if you get on the waitlist now, then you will be getting access to the best price that I'm never ever going to offer again, plus one-on-one sessions with me until we start in January. So like, this is like, these bonuses are worth its weight in gold, guys. You will not get that level of personal connection with me otherwise. So if you're interested, if you feel the call, you can jump on the wait list and you'll just be notified of this amazing deal before anyone else. And I only have limited spots for this particular deal, the early bird, before we go into full launch of the program, which will be happening in November. So I hope you've enjoyed this, guys, and just remember, protect yourself. If you need support, reach out to me on Instagram or leave a comment here. I always cherish any of your comments, any of your feedback. And I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, whatever platform you're on. And be safe out there, guys, because they be floating. Anyway, guys, I will see you later and sending you lots and lots of love.